Hi everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm going to be working in my vacation album. I am going to document day 3 and 4. Now, if you haven't seen 1 and 2, I will add it up at the eye for you. I actually did a little flip through of some of my older vacation albums in that video. And I also talked about how I will be printing my journaling on a 6x8 paper and using my Feed Your Craft inline stamp set to add the days right above my journaling. It just made more sense. I had already journaled while we were on vacation, so it made sense to kind of print it out and not have to worry about documenting each day and journaling about it while I'm creating in my album. That way I can just kind of focus on the pictures and making it look pretty. Anyways, I'm gonna start. Now, day 3 was not busy at all. That was the day we arrived. We were really tired, so literally we just walked around for a little bit, had dinner, and went back to the hotel to nap. But day 4 was really busy, and I have a lot of layouts for day 4. I'm actually going to kind of cut this video in half and share the rest of day 4 next week because I end up with a lot of layouts for day 4. I also decided on sticking to a kit for every few layouts I work on in my vacation album. Now, I decided to do that because it makes the process so much easier. I do that all the time when I'm working in my vacation albums. I just think when you have a kit and all the cards kind of match and have kind of the same theme, just makes it so easy. And last week I used my Feed Your Craft Soak Up the Fun kit, and this week I'm using my Studio Calico, I believe it's the Great Escape kit. It worked perfectly for my vacation album because it's all about exploring and adventure and all that good stuff. I do use other things, other products. I don't just stick to the kit, but I try to as much as possible because I want the process to be fast and I want to document these photos. Something like I used my Kelly Perky to stamp out Here Comes the Fun. I don't remember which stamp set they came from, but I stamped it on a Kelly Perky label and added it to this 3x4 photo of my family and I. And just little things like that. I will use my stash, but I will definitely stick to the kit as much as possible. I'm just going to end up adding a little blue chipboard heart to this 3x4 photo. My family and I decided to buy matching bracelets for our trip, and we do that all the time. We'll buy matching like ankle bracelets or something when we're traveling, just for the heck of it. It's kind of like a little tradition. I'm moving on to this 4x6 photo. I have these humongous numbers, I believe from an old Ali Edwards kit, and I thought these would work really well to document the days. I love to add day 1 and 2 and all that good stuff. And I forgot to do that for 1 and 2 from last week, but I will go back in and add those. And I'm adding day 3, and I will also grab this yellow chipboard that said Travel Fun, and I will add that right above my 3. But I'm going to end up sticking that on my page protector just so I don't bulk it up. I will also be using this vacation chipboard. These are from Ali Edwards. I've had these chipboards forever, and this was the perfect time to use those like travel themed chipboards. I'm going to use this 3x4 card that says bucket list, obviously to add my bucket list. And I'm happy to say that I was able to check off every single one on my bucket list because there were certain places I wanted to see. Even though my husband did all the planning for this vacation and surprised us with this vacation, but I had a few things in mind that I wanted to do or see, and we were able to do that. I'm going to also be adding some enamel dots to my title card, and I wanted to brighten up this 3x4 card that said Let's Get Lost, and I thought I could use my Feed Your Craft Pattern Play stamp set to stamp some of the circles with some white Brilliance ink. But you guys, my white Brilliance ink is very dry, and it did not really brighten this 3x4 card, but it did turn out pretty cool looking. It kind of looked like an ombre white and gray thing going on, but it looked better in person than on video. Anyways, I'm done with day 3, and I'm going to start working on day 4. I will also be using that large number 4 and adding that to my 4x6 photo of our luggage This is just a photo I took while we were on the ship going to Bohol, which is one of the islands in the Philippines, and that's one of the easiest ways to get to that island from the city. But I'm moving on to this 4x6 photo of my husband standing on the sidewalk, and I love this picture even though it's very simple, but it kind of captures the island a little bit with the tricycles, the motorcycles, the colorful buildings. I just love this picture. I'm gonna go ahead and use some of my Feed Your Craft stamps. I'm adding one of the stamps to a Kelly Perky label, and I'll also be adding a geotag. And I just trimmed that in half because this 4x6 photo needs to go in two 3x4 pockets. I will also be documenting this amazing dessert that is very popular in the Philippines. Now, I hope I pronounced this correctly. It's called halo halo, and we loved it so much, so I'm going to be using my Feed Your Craft stamp set. Don't remember the name of the stamp set, but I promise if I don't mention the name in this video of any of the stamp sets, I'm going to add them down below for you in the description box. But I'm going to just add Treat Yourself, and I totally forgot to add the name of the dessert on my picture, but I do go back in and do add that. I just use some alpha stickers for that. For this 3x4 card, I decide to use one of my Ali Edward chipboard tags. Now, this was the travel themed chipboard sheet, and I knew I would not use this tag on a layout because it's kind of too big and I just wouldn't use it in a traveler's notebook. So this is the right moment to use it. And if I didn't use it now, it would just sit in my stash longer and longer. So I'm going to grab some twine, add it to this tag, and I'm going to end up grabbing my Kelly Perky stamps to add Let the Good Times Roll right under my tag. And I just created a little 3x4 card for myself. Now, I always recommend when you have these side projects like mini albums, vacation albums, all the good stuff, is to use up your stash. Grab them, put them in front of you. That's what I actually did. You guys know I use my little drawers, but I did have a little stash right in front of me that I was going to and using first before I went into my drawers, because those are the things I really wanted to use, or they were travel themed and worked with my album. So I definitely recommend to use up some of your older stuff and then kind of go through your newer stuff. I'm going to finish up the spread by adding magical to this 4x6 photo and a little chipboard heart. Then I'm going to flip over this side of my layout and start working on the other side, which we are still in day 4. Now, day 4, we did a lot of things. We did all the touristy things, and we had a lot of photos, or I had a lot of photos, and I really want to document them all. So I'm going to end up with a lot of layouts for day 4. But I'm going to go through my photos, try to add them to my spread, and I'm going to go ahead and add my cards. I'm still using the Studio Calico kit. And in day 4, my husband surprised us because when we got to the island of Bohol, one of our friends from Dubai met us there. She was visiting her family. So we were surprised, the kids and I, and it was adorable. They had a sign for us and everything. It was just really cute that my husband surprised us and they didn't tell us about it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little chipboard to that 4x6 photo where the family's holding up the sign, and they actually took us to all the touristy spots in day 4. So it was a great day. I really, really enjoyed it. The next photo, all I'm going to do is grab my stamps, and I'm going to stamp one of my little circle stamps that has a map. And this is a stamp set from, I'm going to say, Feed Your Craft. And I will stamp it in the label and add it to this 3x4 photo of the kids and I. Now, all these photos were taken on the same island, obviously, and we were visiting the Chocolate Hills, which are gorgeous. They're just hills upon hills, and they called them Chocolate Hills because they turn brown throughout the year. When we were there, it was the rainy season, so They were not brown, they were kind of greenish, but they were gorgeous. So we spent that morning checking out the chocolate hills. Right now I am going to be stamping on this 3x4 card. It's a really pretty card, but I felt like it was a little kind of bland, so I'm just adding a little stamp. I do this all the time where I kind of curve my stamps. It doesn't ruin your stamp. Once you remove it, it will go back to being straight. And I'm also going to be adding some red enamel dots just to bring in the red. I'm really loving the greens and the reds in this kit, and they're just matching my pictures perfectly. Adding another stamp to this photo of my husband and I, and I'm just adding Together We Are Magic. This is from a Kelly Perky stamp set, and I'll end up adding a little puffy heart. I'm really trying to keep this simple. I don't want to add a lot of things to my spreads, but at the same time I do, if that makes sense. But I'm not going all out because, as I said earlier, I have a lot of photos to document and a lot of memories. So I want it to look pretty, but at the same time, I'm trying to keep it simple. I went ahead and trimmed down this 3x4 picture because I wanted that colorful strip on the 3x4 card to show when I add the picture. I just felt like it brought in the red to this part of my spread, and I just loved that colorful strip. So that was the reason behind it. I'm going to be using my Kelly Perky Alpha stickers. I'm going to use the red ones to add the name of this amazing dessert. It was so good, you guys. I'm not even going to try to say the name of it because I know I will butcher it. But it's literally like sticky rice with sugar, and I believe they put coconut milk in there, and then they wrap it with banana leaves. It was amazingly good. So obviously I took a picture of it. I want to document it, and just adding the name of it on the bottom with some red alpha stamps or red alpha stickers really brought the red down to the bottom of my spread. I'm going to finish up this side of my spread by adding little stamps on this Let's Wander, and this is just a huge red W. Now I really liked how bold it was, but I really wanted to stamp. I felt like it was just calling my name, telling me stamp on me. So I went ahead and grabbed my Feed Your Craft stamp set to add little phrases like where I want to be, time to unplug, adventure bound, and little things like that. And I'm just going to add it inside my W and call this side of my spread done. One of my favorite things to do is add a large photo to my album, and especially trimming it down to fit into the pockets. I just love that look. So I got this printed at Persnickety Prints. I do not print the larger photos at home, and I trimmed it down to fit into my pockets, and I'll get back to that later to add a little embellishment to it. But I'm going to start with this side of my spread where I'm documenting my kids eating worms. Yes, they totally did. And if you've watched my traveler's notebook layouts, I did create a layout using these pictures, and I don't mind telling the story more than once in different projects. I did leave the packaging from the worms, which my husband thought it was disgusting, but I kept them. Now, my kids were really adventurous when we were in the Philippines. They really shocked me. They tried it. My husband and I said, no, of course not. But I created a little collage of them. I added the packaging, and I also remembered that I have these 1-2-3 chipboards from one of my Ali Edwards sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1-2-3, and I'm also going to use my Studio Calico stamp set to stamp out No. I thought it worked really well. I really like how this little collage turned out. And as I said earlier, because I'm printing out my journaling, I didn't have to take the time and write about every single story in this album, which really helped with the process. It just came together so much faster. Now my stamp will not fit on one side of my packaging, so I decided to ink up one word, add it to the left side and the other word to the right side. And that way I can use the stamp and fit it onto my collage. Now I could have definitely cut my stamp in half. I do that a lot and it's not going to ruin your acrylic stamps, but because I was able to ink up one word, there was a lot of space between them, and ink up the other, and I didn't have a problem with that, so I just went ahead and did that and not cut my acrylic stamp. Anyways, I'm going to be adding a piece of ephemera to this 3x4 card. This is just a little tag from one of the t-shirts we bought, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And then I'm going to finish up this side of my spread by adding a little chipboard to this 4x6 photo of my family and I. It just says explore, dream, discover. And I'm going to finish up this spread by adding that chipboard. I'll flip this page protector over to start working on that 6x12 photo. Now, I remembered that I had these wood veneers from Heidi Swapp, and one of them said adventure. So I went looking for it and tried it out, and it fit perfectly on one of my hills because it was kind of curved. And I'm so happy I remembered those little wood veneers because it fit nicely on my picture, and I love how it turned out. But I am not done, you guys. I have one more spread to go documenting our trip to the Chocolate Hills. I'm not done with day 4 yet, but I will share that next week. But I'm going to finish up this video working on this spread. I went ahead and added my photos and cards, and I'm going to go through my Color Cast Design acrylics because I remembered that I had this great outdoors in green and it worked perfectly on this 4x6 photo. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. As always, I end up adding it to my page protector and not my photo. I'm going to trim down this 4x6 photo because it's going into 3x4 pockets. I'll add a little chipboard, but I end up changing this chipboard. I think I just didn't like the red. I'll also grab these 2 3x4 cards, thinking I'm going to stamp on them, and I do end up stamping on the green one. I just stamp enjoy the journey, and I add a flare to this 3x4 card with the circle, but I really don't like it, and I just feel like the card, there was too many circles, and I feel like the card just didn't match for some reason. So I'm going to end up going back into my cards, changing that 3x4 and adding the flare on the new 3x4 card. And then I will change that chipboard and call my spreads done, you guys. Hopefully I will share the rest of day 4 with you guys next week, so keep an eye out for that. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.